Wisconsin's E-Forward statue lies in the street on Capitol Square in Madison, Wis.
Tuesday, June 23, 2020 AP Madison. Governor Oliver said on Wednesday he was prepared to activate the National Guard to protect state properties after protesters outside the Wisconsin Capitol tore down statues commemorating an abolitionist and women's rights and threw a Molotov cocktail into a government building during a night of violence that also included an attack on a state senator.
The violence broke out on Tuesday night as a group of 200 to 300 people protested the arrest of a black man who shouted at restaurant customers through a megaphone while carrying a baseball bat. Officers inside the Capitol used pepper spray to repel protesters who were trying to break into the historic center of state government, Madison police said. What happened in Madison last night presented a stark contrast from the peaceful protests we have seen across our state in recent weeks, including significant damage to state property, Evers said in a statement. The violence unfolded in a city long known as a liberal bastion with a long history of protest, dating back to student demonstrations on the University of Wisconsin campus in the 1960s. People protested in 2011 over then-Governor Scott Walker's anti-union proposals. Smaller protests are almost a weekly, and sometimes daily, fixture at the Capitol on a host of issues. It also exposed simmering anger over the 2015 shooting by police of a 19-year-old black man by an officer who was eventually cleared and remains on the force. That shooting has been referenced by protesters in recent weeks. The violence started on Tuesday after Madison police arrested a protester who came to a restaurant across the street from the Capitol with a bat on his shoulder. Video released by Madison police shows the man, Devin or Johnson, talking through a megaphone while walking around the restaurant's outdoor patio. He walks inside and paces through the restaurant with the bat on his shoulder, saying he's disturbing the restaurant and talking about God and the police before walking up. On another video released by police, as many as 5 officers can be seen taking Johnson to the sidewalk and carrying him to a police squad car after he resisted arrest. Police said the man briefly escaped from the squad car before being tackled. Johnson was charged in 2015 with being a passenger in a stolen car, resisting an officer and theft, according to online court records. He pleaded guilty to being a passenger and was sentenced to probation. The following year he was charged with being a party to armed robbery and theft. Under a plea deal, he was sentenced to probation after pleading guilty to theft. Police said on Tuesday night a group of 200 to 300 people gathered and entered a private condominium building where they surrounded a tow truck, forcing the driver to abandon it. The crowd broke windows in multiple buildings, threw a Molotov cocktail into the city-county building and brought down the statues on the grounds of the Capitol. Protesters chanting for Johnson's release also broke glass at the Tommy Thompson Center, named for the former Republican governor, and smashed windows and lights at the Capitol. Early Wednesday, police in riot gear worked to clear a crowd of about 100 people that remained in the area. One of the statues toppled, decapitated and dragged into a lake about a half-mile away was of Civil War Colonel Hans Christian Heck. He was an anti-slavery activist and leader of an anti-slave catcher militia in Wisconsin who fought for the Union and died from injuries suffered during the Battle of Chickamauga. The base of the Heck statue was defaced with graffiti on Wednesday morning that read, "Fire Matt Kenny," a reference to a white Madison police officer who shot and killed 19-year-old Tony Robinson, a black man, in 2015. Kenny said Robinson had attacked him and he feared he would take his gun. Dane County District Attorney Ismail Ozan, who is black, cleared Kenny of any criminal wrongdoing and he remains a Madison officer. The other statue taken down represents Wisconsin's motto of "Forward." The statue had been vandalized in past protests with paint thrown on it and graffiti spray painted on and around it. Forward was first installed 125 years ago but replaced with a bronze replica in 1998. It sat prominently outside the Capitol, facing the University of Wisconsin campus and the street lined with bars, restaurants and small businesses. That corridor has been the target of much of the vandalism since the death of George Floyd on May 25 in Minneapolis after a white police officer used his knee to pin the handcuffed black man's neck, even after Floyd stopped moving. The destruction followed similar unrest nationwide following Floyd's death, but in other cities statues of Confederate soldiers and other symbols of slavery were destroyed. Democratic State Senator Tim Carpenter was assaulted after taking a cell phone video of protesters. Punched/kicked in the head, neck, ribs, Carpenter tweeted around 4 a.m. Maybe concussion, sucked in left eye is little blurry, sore neck and ribs, 10 people attacked me. Innocent people are going to get killed. Capitol locked stuck in office. Stop violence Nuffles. Protester Michael told the Associated Press in a text that the two statues paint a picture of Wisconsin as a racially progressive state when in reality slavery has continued in the form of a correction system built around incarcerating blacks. The fall of the statues is a huge gain for the movement, though I think that liberal and conservative media outlets will try to represent last night as senseless violence rather than a strategic political move it really was. The violence drew bipartisan outrage from Wisconsin politicians. Republicans called on Evers and Madison's Democratic mayor to do more to protect the Capitol. Republican Assembly Speaker Robin Vos branded the protesters as thugs. Governor Mandela Barnes, the first black person to hold that office, condemned the violence but said, far-right provocateurs had fanned the flames of hate. This includes influencing the most destructive policy decisions, to stirring up emotions with the most hateful one-sided discourse, pitting communities against one another, Barnes tweeted. Madison Alderman Paul Skidmore said he's upset with Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway for not condemning the violence and showing more support for police. They're destroying our public monuments, Skidmore said. They're destroying our government fabric. They're crossing that line with impunity. The mob has become very bold. They see they can get away with a little and they inch forward more and more. Downtown Madison is a battle zone right now and I fear for my city. Rhodes Conway issued a statement calling the latest protests exceedingly dangerous and promising police are investigating. She also cited efforts the city has undertaken since Floyd's death to better control police, including creating a police auditor and a civilian police oversight committee. Everyone, police, protester, elected official, business owner, resident, everyone must find it within themselves to show compassion and kindness for each other, and to care about each other's safety and well-being, the mayor said.